Hello and welcome to the Little Minds Big Ideas podcast with the Early Years Network.
Hello.
Hello. We've got a bit more of a fun one today because
Thank the Lord.
last couple of episodes have been a little bit heavy. We've had the general election, we've had the big O with Ofsted.
Don't worry, there is still some mention of the general election and
There
politics.
is. Yeah, there is.
Because at the moment we can't escape that.
No, but it is a bit of a fun one. So to kick us off, we're going to do what's new on the platform. So we've got Olivia's brand new baby movement class, which is live now.
Woo!
So if you head to theearlyearsnetwork.co.uk, sign up, have a look, and you will get access to Olivia's brand new class on baby movement. And it's really good, isn't it?
It's a bit of a marathon.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half
Yeah,
plus
it's
long.
a long one.
But it's just broken it down into 12 lessons, so it's not arduous. You can just approach one lesson at a time. Some lessons are as short as like just a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Longer ones about 10 minutes. But I think if you're new into a baby room, I think it'd be really valuable.
Yeah.
I think that's specifically how I'd probably aim it at. Trainees, people who are inducting new into babies. There might be seasoned early years people, but there is a stark difference between preschoolers and babies. I mean, that sounds quite an obvious statement to make, but do you know what I mean? There is lots of nuances. It's almost like a different career entirely when you go from the preschool into a baby room.
Oh, yeah,
So-
massively.
and she handles some of the really key things that you don't really even think of. Even me watching it, I was thinking at times like, oh, crikey, I'd never really thought about that. And she timelines it really well in terms of milestones and stuff. So.
Yeah. So it's great for that team development for your staff. And also it's a great way for support for educators when you're chatting to parents, because we all know that accidents happen across all the settings, but when babies start to move, you can have a few. So it's a great way you can share it with your parents, or even just give yourself a little bit more confidence in what you're saying is right when you are delivering that knowledge to parents as well.
And it's common sense that like your most needy parents, with quotation marks, are going to be in that baby room because a lot of them are going to be first time parents.
Yeah. No,
And they're new parents themselves. So they're like, their worries,
yeah.
their apprehensions are all going to be at a sky high level, aren't they? Because it's their first, it's their little baba.
But even if it's not their first, all children are different. So even if they're one baby who, when they started moving, that was it, they were off confidence, and then the second might be a little bit more wobbly and got to find their feet with it as such.
A bit more clumsy.
Yeah.
Clumsy soul.
And then it's going to give you the confidence to adapt your environment and your practice alongside different children. It's got a lot of things that you can implement straight into your day-to-day. So definitely go and check it out.
Yeah.
Olivia delivers it really well.
Perfect.
So that is what is brand new on the platform for you this week. So make sure you go and check it out. And this week in the news, jingle again.
This is
Something
the
new for
third
this
time we've
week.
done this.
Ben just keeps singing.
I just keep saying random things.
We're back to politics because
We
they're
are.
all over the place at the moment. Mr. Starmer is out and about in the public, getting things done.
He is.
People.
Chatting to Forgetful Joe.
Poor Joe.
So, Bridget Phillipson. Forgetful Joe. That was a comment about Joe Biden, just in case you didn't think who the hell was Joe.
Gloss over it. Fine.
Bridget Phillipson is the new Secretary of Education. Stephen Morgan is part of her team. He's in charge of, let's say, early years. Obviously, she oversees education as a whole.
Yeah.
She has promised a sea of changes, not just a lot of changes, Emily, a sea of changes.
Oh, I'm ready.
So they're going
I'm ready to see a sea of changes.
So they're going to be, I assume then, wet, cold, and a little bit salty.
Probably. It sounds about right for reforming the early years, isn't it?
So we've got some wet, cold, salty changes coming in to early years. And she's promised that early years is her number one priority. And sort of Stephen Morgan's reiterated the same thing. I think a lot of this stems around their extra 3,000 places. Is it 3,000 places or 3,000 settings?
3,000 settings.
Settings, right. Okay, so a lot more places.
Makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
I mean, it is going to be, it's 3,000 new school-based nurseries. It is going to be her number one priority because she's got a lot of staff to find in a very short amount of time.
Do you know what? I really struggle to talk about it because school-based settings, the staff, curriculum on it, learning through play, I just really struggle. So if she'd like to have a conversation about it, I am...
Well, they are doing, aren't they? Is it next week?
It's next week, yes. But if she would like to come and chat to us about it, because we are voices in early years, we put ourselves out there, we put our opinions across, We advocate for the early years. This is my invitation.
It's quite a snug little sofa though. She'll have to put herself onto.
I'll sit over there. It's fine. She can have my seat.
I might have to dip out on that episode. Otherwise, it's going to be very comfortable.
And do you know what? I'm not against the Labour Party. That's not where I'm sat. Like, it's fine. I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's have a conversation. But I think we need to have a real conversation.
Not a fake one.
Not a fake one about, oh, let's do this. Let's promise. Like, no. Why do you think 3,000 new school-based settings is going to work when we are in a recruitment crisis?
The thing is, if you zoom out of early years, it's because they've promised this extension to funding and then very quickly realised the uptake that they're likely to see of parents then wanting that childcare, let's call it, the current industry just won't be able to handle.
No,
That's where
I totally get it. I totally get it.
As a government, regardless if they're blue or red, have gone, oh, shit, we don't actually have enough provision out there to provide. And the only way they can do that is they can't make private businesses expand. No. So what they have to do is then they'll have to do it internally in terms of the public sector.
And I fully get that, but we're in the middle of a recruitment crisis and offering that cash incentive, to people who are coming into the industry.
It's a lot of nonsense.
That's what I mean. So I'm looking forward. I don't know how much conversation there'll be next week.
Well, the interesting, they've also promised, I can't see the wording of it, but they've also promised a refreshed recruitment drive, which would be interesting to see what that looks like, because the Conservatives rolled out that website, didn't they? That was just full of thousands of jobs. Do you remember the website they rolled out?
It was really hard to use.
We put one advert up and nothing ever happened. I'd be interested to hear if anyone actually got anything from that website.
Councils, yeah.
It was a bit of a something or nothing. I don't really know. It's a typical sort of government-led incentive where it doesn't really amalgamise into anything. A re-energised recruitment campaign, is what she's called it, and supporting better outcomes. Look, I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah.
So early years been at the forefront. Yeah, great. We've been asking that for years. It just feels like now the government's actually being bitten on the arse by the type of things that they've been ignoring and we've been complaining about for years. So, look, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I don't see how it can work.
I just want people in early years to be at the forefront of the conversation. That's where I struggle. We had what was it called? Shaping Up campaign.
Led by
the princess. And I'm not 100% sure how many settings that were not school-based were involved in that.
Also, that was weird, though, because they announced that, and then a week later she was in Iceland meeting business leaders. That felt very strange from the get-go.
Because it was like, oh, what kind of things do you see in people? And then it's the same things that we learn in early years. Fine. I get the process, but it's not really hit the ground running as much as I thought it would.
In all fairness to her, she's a bit out at the moment, isn't she?
It's more the campaign itself. I don't know how much of early years has been involved, and I'd like to know how many people have been involved in that sort of campaign and things, because there was a lot of celebrities talking about their early years, which is great, but that's not what's happening now.
The problem is, though, these conversations always just boil back around to cold, hard cash. That's what it always comes down to.
But it doesn't.
It does, though, because what you want is to stem the recruitment crisis, you need more funding to come in so more can be paid back out in salaries. That's effectively what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It all comes back down to hard cash at the end of the day. And there is a finite...
I think I just want us to be...
level of resources. Yeah, but what does that mean?
I don't know.
People always say, I just want to be recognised. They're talking about early years all the time at the moment. Do you want to be name dropped? How much and can that recognition actually mean anything? What people actually mean is they want more funding into the sector, and we're not alone. The people, if this was an NHS podcast, would probably be saying the same thing.
100%.
If we were a train line podcast, would be saying the same thing.
A hospital the other day.
Oh yeah, and it looks like something out of a third world country. It was bomb scares and panels falling out of the ceilings, and it was awful. Absolutely awful.
Great, wasn't it?
But for the pride of this country to walk around that being our local hospital, it's an absolute state. And that's nothing against the people who work there, because they are all flying around like their arse off.
What was my main gripe when I walked out of the hospital? We won't get into it.
Well, mine was the step. Actually, that was the local GP when I fell out of the door.
Ben turned around and looked at this step for a good 10 seconds. Like this
I
step
didn't
had
understand
really
it. There was no need for it. There was just this. It wasn't a big step, which made it worse because then you just walk out and suddenly drop. But like, I'm not a frail 80-year-old woman. If I would have been, I'd have had a tumble.
No, because you'd probably taken more care with.
No, I would have had a fall, Emily.
Had a fall.
And I would,
fallen.
I'd have come at the NHS for a big fat paycheck and a broken hip. But no, your complaint was around actually smoking outside, wasn't it?
Oh, I was gobsmacked with the amount of people in uniform stood outside A&E.
And it wasn't even subtle, was it? There was
no.
There's probably like 50 people outside the front door just smoking.
Crazy. And then there's all this propaganda inside the hotel. In the hospital.
It's not a hotel, Emily.
Inside the hospital about smoking and how bad it is for us and how much is strange.
There is a level.
And I just thought, oh my God, the bloody cheek of them.
There's a level of irony of having to like sort of climb over a wall of smoke in order to get into a hospital.
And I suddenly walked by.
Right, how have we got onto this?
I don't know, sorry.
Room 101. Should we get stuck in?
Okay, so this week we wanted to do something a little bit more lighthearted because apparently all we do is talk politics.
And that's what we've done in the opening 20 minutes of this podcast.
Sorry. Won't be 20 minutes for you though because we've had to cut 3 times to start again.
Right, come on.
So, Room 101.
Did you used to watch this show?
Yeah, I liked it.
Let's preface what we're actually doing here.
Room 101 is a programme that was on the telly. I'm not sure what channel. Maybe
it was a BBC production. It started in 1994.
Oh, look at you, background.
And it had 18 seasons.
That's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot. I used to really like it.
I feel like it's still going.
No.
Yeah.
No,
They must do special episodes. I'm sure they do.
Special episodes?
Yeah, like the special.
Right, I'm on Google now. So, the first episode came out on the 4th of July, 1994. Presenters between 94 and 97 was Nick Hancock. Then Paul Merton took over in 1999 to 2007 and Frank Skinner 2012 to 2018. So it must have been off air now since 2018.
I don't know.
It has.
Okay.
It's no longer on. 2018. There was 141 episodes.
God, that Room 101 must be full.
Heaving. And the premise of this is we wanted to pick some bits and pieces that were semi-serious and also some that were slightly more fun. And we tried to get that from Instagram as well, didn't we? We put a little post out.
Oh, some of them were so serious and so...
But it's like, if anybody's watched Room 101, you don't sit down and go, oh, what do you want to put in Room 101? Murderers, paedophiles, and Adolf Hitler. Well, because that's not... No one's going to have fun around that conversation. No. It's silly stuff like celery and sandwiches.
Or as someone in our office says, jelly, nonsense food.
Yeah. It's
which we do keep coming back to at the moment.
It's funny stuff like that. Or Crocs. Or zebra crossings. I don't know. Whatever you want. I don't know why you pick zebra crossings. But
sure, what kind of fun things like that on the roads?
Obviously, if we were sat doing it seriously, you would pick other things inside the world of early years. Just thought I'd preface that because... some people on Instagram just started shouting at us.
Yeah.
Ofsted.
Oh, yeah. And if you've watched last episode on Ofsted, we don't want to get rid of them. So, yeah.
Cool.
So, we both picked 3 things that we're going to discuss, but we're going to put in Room 101.
Yep.
In the early years Room 101. And so I've got 3, Ben's got 3. Yep. And then I've got a couple that we picked from Ofsted. More
picked from Ofsted.
I'm losing my
Ofsted
mind
have
today.
been in touch, and rather than answering the important questions, they just sent us what they would put in Room 101.
Imagine.
No,
from Instagram.
From Instagram.
So it's more of the fun ones that I've picked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, give it to us.
My first one is children who are not toilet training in pull-ups.
Who are not toilet training?
Yes.
Okay.
Babies, 2-year-olds that are not toilet training in pull-ups.
What's wrong with pull-ups?
Oh, it's a whole process.
Go on.
Trousers have to come off. You learn the one leg trick when you work in a setting for a long time.
Right, okay.
But with a nappy, you don't have to take the shoes and the trousers off.
Oh, because it...
Yep.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. Okay,
yeah.
Yep.
I would like to say, Ben, have you ever changed a nappy?
No. No, I haven't. Absolutely not.
I'll get Becky round with new baby LC.
Mm.
You can give that a go.
Joy. Can't wait.
So it's a whole palaver. It's a whole thing. When they're toilet training, fine. But they are not designed to hold as much wee and poo as nappies.
Right.
I have done a little bit of research into this. The cost comparison is pretty similar.
Oh, God, you really have to?
Yeah. Because I didn't know whether like they were cheaper, so people would go like.
Are they made out of the same material? Like,
it's the same, but it's not meant to absorb as much. They are meant for aiding and supporting toilet training.
Right, okay.
Don't put a baby in them.
Don't put babies in them. What about those reusable nappies?
That's one for later.
Oh, is it? Okay.
101, thank you.
I'll just end that back. Right, okay, sorry.
Skipping ahead.
Okay.
That is my first thing. It drives me insane.
Why do people do it then?
I'm not really sure.
Oh, right.
I'm not a parent, so I don't know.
It's probably just
I don't have my own child.
A dad's probably just gone to a supermarket and that's what he's bought.
No, I don't know. But that, for me, is the first thing that I am putting in Room 101. When we first started talking about this.
Yeah, but if you put them in Room 101, then they can't be used later when they are toilet training. Well, you can't because they're in Room 101 now.
No, I've put children who aren't toilet training in pull-ups. As soon as they're in toilet training, you get them out.
Once I lock that door, you can't get them back out.
No, but that's not what I don't want pull-ups to go in Room 101. I want this scenario to go in Room 101.
It's a very specific context.
Yeah, thank you.
Not sure you fully understand how this game works, but okay.
That is mine.
Okay. My turn?
You're number one. Ben's are a little bit more towards the staff and education.
Okay.
Whereas mine is like, I've worked in a nursery for 10 years and this is my gripe.
God, it's really coming out now. You sound really bitter this episode.
I'm ready.
What am I going to choose first? I'm going to start. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to spice it up a little bit and go rogue.
All right.
I think I'm going to go for overprotecting first because this applies both to practitioners but
and parents.
Massively to parents.
Yeah.
I think overprotecting is, right, I need to premise this with, I'm not saying just put your children into danger willy-nilly. Obviously. But I do have to say that because you'd be amazed by the things we get back on social media sometimes.
The thing is, though, you'll clip this up and someone will listen to that first bit. They won't listen to the rest of it and you will have comments of, oh my God, he wants to put children in danger.
He's basically saying let them play on motorways.
Yeah. Play in the traffic.
Obviously, protecting children is really important because some of them more than others need that level of protecting. But I think overprotection is one of the worst things that can happen to children during early years. And that overprotection comes from parents' fears, parents' worries.
Yeah. Educators' worries.
Obviously they don't want educators' worries. They obviously don't want these little children to get hurt. It's fully understandable and a natural inclination for any adult human being. But in saying that, you can really stifle high quality learning opportunities and the development of independence by becoming too almost obsessive to keep them safe. When we're talking about that, we're talking about stifling opportunities for physical development. And obviously there is scenarios as an adult you will look at and go, right, this could go wrong very easily. Obviously in that point, step in. But going back to early years, probably more. And in terms of the setting, if a child is shown a willingness and wants to climb and is climbing everything within your setting, you probably need to reflect on, do you actually have any opportunities for this child to climb safely or what you would deem as safe? Because if not, you're just stifling that opportunity. He's obviously demonstrating, or she's obviously demonstrating the want to do that.
Yeah.
Same with throwing. They keep throwing these big wooden blocks around. Well, do you have anything that you can throw safely?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not always, sometimes we have to find solutions. But when it comes to things up in forest school, we have across our provision forest school, we have woodwork. These are the opportunities for children to do things in a, slightly more dangerous manner. They have got a hammer, but bangs his finger. It's not the end of the world. He's going to have a bruise on it. And it will quickly teach them, actually, you don't hold and utilise a hammer in that way. If they do it again and again and again and again and again, there's obviously something that we need to look at there and there's something going wrong. But in general, the children will only do certain things a certain amount of time before, they learn through experience, as we know is the key premise to it. So for me, overprotecting is something that I like to see stuck in Room 101 and, give children a bit of autonomy, independence. And early years children are capable of far more than often people give them credence.
100%, yeah.
So there we go. There's my first one.
That's going in the room.
In the room. Well in the room.
In Room 101.
Yep.
Done. Okay.
Lock the door.
My number 2. Negativity in front of the children from adults. And I've done this from sort of the view of the setting, I think. So people have bad days.
They do.
I get that. But when you've had a conversation with someone and it's pissed you off and you go and take that negativity and that anger in front of the children, get in Room 101.
Get in there.
Get in the room.
getting there so up.
Drives me mad. The children aren't, it's not their fault.
No.
They don't need to hear the negativity. Parents don't pay for you to have negative conversations in front of their children.
No.
They pay you to educate their children.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. We all want to have adult conversation throughout the day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying never talk to your colleagues about anything other than the children. But when you are with those children, they are the priority.
Yeah.
And if you've had a meeting with your manager that's made you cross and you not the outcome you want, the children don't need to know about it.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, your colleagues don't need to know about it, because as soon as you start being negative, the energy goes from up here to down here, and they're done. So
It's a difficult one though, isn't it? Because life still goes on regardless of your job.
100%. But I'm not saying don't have these negative conversations with your colleagues. Don't do it in front of the children.
Yeah.
You need to have a conversation with someone. You pull them aside. You go into the office. You do it on your lunch break. Whatever. I don't care. But not in front of the children. It's not their fault.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my second one.
I guess that sort of dives into home life as well, doesn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're going to have an argument with your other half, it's the damaging effects that can have on children, and just genuinely being aware with that, I think.
If you're feeling upset, you're feeling cross, you can tell children. You can tell them your emotions. Don't be shy to tell them, look, Emily's having a bad day today. She's feeling a little bit sad. So maybe we could do some things to help me feel happy. It helps them to recognise emotions. They don't need to know why.
Yeah.
They don't need to know the ins and outs of it. You can say somebody else has made me sad because they use some not very nice words to me. Fine. Because they need to understand that other people can feel emotions around them. But then you move through it. You move on. When children are upset, we often say, and this was one of them, but I didn't put in, you're okay. You're okay. How would you feel as an adult if someone said, oh, you're okay? But you're okay.
You're fine. Yeah, because you're okay is just basically saying,
I don't care.
Or how you're feeling, it doesn't really matter. Like, just get on with it.
Exactly.
It's a way of saying, oh, shut up and get on with it.
Exactly. So that for me, my negativity in front of children is in room 101.
Okay.
That's my second point. My third one, I think, is my favourite. So.
Oh, cliffhanger. My second one is going to be using Ofsted for false purposes.
Oh, what a waste of time for
This
everybody.
one really peeves me off. When it can be either be a parent who's disgruntled about something, or it can be a former employee who's disgruntled about something, and you use Ofsted as a way of getting back. I'm all for Ofsted serves such an important role in terms of whistleblowing, safeguarding children. Absolutely. If you have any way, shape, or form a concern, something that just doesn't seem right, etc., hit up Ofsted and go through the proper channels, because you just never know what's lying under the surface. Yeah. And by you doing that, you could protect a child, or you could stop something really dangerous or horrible happening. But if you're just making something up and you know absolutely deep down there is absolutely no concerns or safeguarding, but you just want to use it as a vehicle to get back at someone, that's what I'm putting in room 101. Because the amount of times you hear about things, and we ourselves have experienced it, where people just facetiously put in complaints to Ofsted based upon absolutely no facts, but they just think, right, I'll get them. This will teach them. And not only is it a waste of our time, but it's a massive waste of time and resources from Ofsted's point of view. Because if we've experienced it and know about it, then it must happen across the country. Mm-hmm. And they then have to deal with it, because if they receive a complaint, they can't go and go, oh, well, it's probably it's probably nonsense, because they can't do that. They have to go out, they have to investigate, or they have to at least acknowledge it. Yeah. It's just time, and time is money, and it's just an utter waste of time. So for me, that gets booted into room 101.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right, come on, let's have your third. You picked it up earlier.
Shoelaces on children's shoes.
Where do you want them to put them?
I don't want them to put them on children's shoes.
Just walk around with unshoelaced shoes.
Velcro, slip-ons.
They used to be so good though, didn't they, back in the day? I used to love Velcro shoes.
Oh my God. A child who's just learnt to walk cannot tie their own shoelace. They come undone all the time. You end up saying, stop, let me do your shoelace. Oh, can I do stop, can I do your shoelace? Oh my God. Don't put your children in shoelace shoes, please.
To be fair though, this also stems across just impractical clothing in general. The amount of times children
said that.
The amount of times though children come in clothes and they're like, oh, she's got a really nice dress on today. Can she just not get too dirty.
No.
What?
No, they
But
can't.
she's going to
Sorry.
get really dirty because she's going to have a really good day.
Yeah, so no.
Don't dress her in that lovely dress.
Oh, but no shoelaces. I don't think... I remember when I had a child in my setting or my room with Converses, with shoelaces.
Converses?
With
Or like the Chuck Taylors?
Yeah, with shoelaces. And in the end, I had to say, like, please don't put your child in these. Or change the laces so they're not so silky that they just undone.
No.
Oh my God, it is one of the most frustrating things ever. Because you spend more time tying shoelaces than you do everything else.
Thing is, it's becoming...
And imagine if it's a child wearing a pull-up and shoelace shoes. Send me like...
Don't show any negativity though, Emily, in front of the
No,
children.
of course not. I love your shoes. So, to be fair, they always look adorable. I love Converses on a toddler. I think they're adorable. But I couldn't do it because it would piss me off. Unless I super glued the shoe lace in a bow.
What shoes would you like to see? What about Crocs?
Oh, do you know what are cute little Vans?
I was saying that Crocs are quite an impractical shoe for a child.
Yeah, we've had a few
there's
injuries through Crocs
gonna say.
recently, yeah. But
Vans?
Vans, I think Vans on a baby.
Yeah, there's some laces.
No, you can get Velcro Vans.
Oh, Velcro Vans. Can you get them in adults?
I don't know. That'd be ideal. Well, you can get slip-on Vans, can't you?
Did you ever have wheelies as a child?
Yeah.
I never had a pair of wheelies. I think I was too old when they came out. I think I looked a bit of a weirdo.
I got some in America. Look.
Yeah, okay, they're quite cool.
Cute, aren't they?
Yeah, they're quite cool. This isn't great for an audio podcast, though, I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Oh my God, they do. Adidas ones with Velcro.
Like the Tory shoes. Have you ever told that story in the podcast?
Okay, I went to buy a brand new pair of trainers and treat myself because my trainers were looking a bit...
Scratchy.
You've probably all seen them. A bit scratty and old. So I decided to treat myself to some Adidas Sambas? No, are they Sambas?
Gazelles?
Gazelles? I don't know.
One of them.
And if you search up Rishi Sunak Adidas trainers, Ben let me buy them.
Literally like
And
a few days before.
specifically said, these aren't the style that he wore in that meeting, are they? And Ben looked me dead in the eye and went, no. No, they're not, no. And I got home and I love them. They're really comfy, like really lovely, actually, and I do love them, don't care. But I was heartbroken that Ben lied to me.
Everybody and their grandmother wears them, though. Remember we got on that tube stop in London and there
It was like 6 pairs.
there was like 20 people in the carriage and at least 12 people were wearing those shoes.
This one, I don't care. Nice shoe.
Just crack on.
Like the ones I'm wearing today. Everyone has these. Mine do have a few stains.
Tasmanians. Right, my final point.
Yeah.
Going to room 101.
Oh, hang on. Can I just end?
You can end, yes.
It's in room 101. That's what he does, isn't it? You have to pull the lever and it goes...
Oh, it does. Is that him?
Yeah, no, he doesn't do it.
Was that-
The person does
Is
it.
that Jonathan Ross? Didn't he do something like that?
No,
Put
that
some on
was
the
the
table.
one show. And no, it was Graham Norton.
Oh,
And
Graham
someone
Norton.
was sat in the big red chair and it would fly back.
Ah, that was
If
it.
they didn't
Yeah.
like the story.
Yes, that was it. Frank Skinner used to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I think the individual person does, don't they? I can't remember. But yeah.
Oh, that's if it goes in, because don't they? The preface of the TV show, was it the audience who decided? Or was
Yeah,
it
at
him
the
who
end.
decided?
Yeah, he decides which one
Yeah,
goes in.
that was it. Yeah, we should have.
Oh, that's fun. We have to choose which one out of our 6.
Okay.
Got to be shoelaces.
My final one is lifeguarding. And for anybody who doesn't know what I mean when I talk about lifeguarding,
It's not in a pool, is it? You want people to drown?
no, I'm not against people who protect and stop people drowning. That's not what I'm talking
That's
about.
not going into one. No. Okay.
I'm talking about lifeguarding in early years. And what I mean by lifeguard is somebody, and we've all witnessed them, we all know who they are,
We've all done it.
are individuals who, no. There's a difference between having a bit of an off day and being,
Full-time
and being a full-time lifeguard. There is some people who are full-time, fully fledged lifeguards in early years. And these are the individuals. Let's say there's a group of children playing outside and there's 2 members of staff. Staff number A, who is not a lifeguard, is there interacting with the children, running around, playing, engaging,
Yeah.
just being involved with the children, living it and breathing it. Employee number B,
Number B.
that's a really interesting way of describing it.
That was, yeah.
Employee B is a lifeguard, and all they do is observe, and they stand and they watch, and they could be very vigilant, they could not be very vigilant, and they could just be in a different dimension, but they are just observing. They don't engage with the children. They're not really there other than if something went wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's why they're a lifeguard, because a lifeguard in a pool is just there to protect. And if someone drowns, boom, they're there.
Yeah.
But they're not there in any other sense or shape or purpose. And lifeguards in early years are probably my biggest bane.
It is something that
whenever I go into a setting or seeing it and somebody's just stood there, one, it's no good for the kids because, you know, the children learn through engagement, they learn through experiences, and they learn from adult role modeling, and you just being there and enriching their experience through language and play. And there is a time and a place, obviously, that we've discussed in classes about where we talk about the importance of sometimes over-engaging, sometimes allowing children have their space, etc., etc. But if you're a lifeguard, in general terms, means that actually engagement is very rare in my eyes. And you see them and they're just stood there. And I always think it must be incredibly boring and dull because, like...
What a long day.
Do you know what I mean? You're just there watching the clock. And I don't know why you would do that, because actually getting involved with the children and playing and everything, it's actually really fun. Like the day must go so much quicker when you're actually engaging with it and having fun and enjoying yourself. Because that's one of the greatest things about working early years. You can actually just enjoy yourself every single day. There's no rules and regulations. Well, obviously there's rules and regulations.
There's loads of rules and regulations.
But in terms of like day to day, like we don't have to, it's not like teachers where they're provided a curriculum and syllabus and they go, right, you have to follow that page by page.
Yeah.
Like we don't have that. You can literally just have fun in a safe manner with children every day. And it's wicked. So why would you choose not to? Why would you choose just to stand there and watch them? So for me, lifeguards has to go into room 101.
Okay, what I'm going to do next Monday is I'm going to do a poll.
Okay.
I'm going to put all 6
on a poll.
On the poll.
Do you know what though? Anybody who's not listening to this podcast is going to be like, why the hell are they putting lifeguards into room 101 on an early years channel?
I will link the podcast episode.
Okay.
On Monday. So we'll find out. And then...
Well, the audience decides.
I will hopefully be victorious.
You won't. Lifeguards has to.
Well, Ben, there's going to be some passionate people about pull-ups and shoelaces. Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, but
trust me.
I'd prefer a child to be in pull-ups and shoelaces and tripping all over the gaff. But at least you've got practitioners there engaging with them, playing, having fun. If we just had
Don't try and guilt trip
if
us.
Our whole industry...
Don't try and guilt trip us. We suffer through days of tying shoelaces.
Yeah, but if our whole industry was just full of individuals who just didn't want to be there, it'd be awful. And then they're all phoning Ofsted and complaining. No, mine I think are...
Yours are practical, mine are petty.
Petty grievances from a petty woman.
Oh, really? Okay, I've got some that have come from Instagram. I'm not going to go through all.
I'll do the first one. Ofsted.
No, but...
And that's actually how they said it as well.
First one, reusable nappies.
I find the idea of this grim.
Each to their own. Wouldn't be my personal
How are they
choice.
reusable? Like,
so
do you have to power up, is it?
Some of them have like liners that are put in, and that's what goes in the bin. But the actual nappy is...
Are they biodegradable?
Yes.
Right, because surely that just defeats the whole point.
Yeah. Some of them aren't. Some of them you literally have to empty in the toilet and then you put it through your washing machine. Usually in a bag, like it's like a big washing machine.
I imagine if you get it wrong, they put all your like other whites in with it.
Yeah.
Oh, grim. Okay.
So it wouldn't be my personal choice, but each to their own.
Yeah, happy to see them go. But then again, I guess it's saving the planet.
Or practitioners taking comforters away from children at nursery.
That just seems mean.
As soon as you wake up. Right, thanks, I like that. I get it. If a dummy is stifling communication and things, fine. But if the child needs that, whatever it is, dummy, comforter, teddy, is it really impacting their day? Eventually, they're going to drop it. And you can put it on the side.
I do get it, though. You do need to phase it out some...
100%.
Yeah. I think there's a difference then between ripping off them immediately and phasing it.
Yeah.
So to the point where they
have it at the beginning of the day, and they're playing, and eventually the teddy, the rag, ends up on the floor and the child's in the garden, fine, take it away. But if they ask for it back because they're feeling a bit uneasy, it's not good.
Yeah. Okay. I get where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
At first, I just even look, at some point, you can't be in the preschool and still have a dummy. Like, there's certain aspects that you have to...
Why can't they hold it, though, if it's a comfort for them?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but phasing it out rather than just snatching off them. Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
This one was actually from Olivia.
Oh, right, go on then.
And I loved it. Children bringing in tiny toys that just get lost.
Yeah.
And then the parent says, oh, that green car that they bought in 3 weeks ago, we've not had that back. And you think,
Yeah.
what fucking car?
this 100-place nursery
With cars?
with cars everywhere.
What fucking car? And then you say to them, where is it? Oh, I don't know. That drives me mad. I'm with her on that. Because it's like, oh, we've not seen that for a while. I've not seen it for a while either. I've got no idea what you're talking about. I didn't even know we had it.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, no idea. Oh, this is a good one.
Oh, do you know what that reminds me of though? Sorry, we used to have, there used to be a child that always came and always wore a backpack. Do you remember?
Well, he just filled it up.
Dora the Explorer. And one day you're like, well, what is in that backpack? Because you turned up this morning, there was nothing in that backpack. You could tell if there's something. And now it looks like you're carrying like, you're off to war.
Do you remember what it was?
And you had Play-Doh.
All the Play-Doh.
And like all the other resources.
Play-Doh in it. And I was like, buddy, that's not just for you.
It got to the point where we literally had to bag search him every day. It got to the point,
even Dad
you know,
was
when you
like,
go to an
"Have you checked
airport
his
and you've got to like pat them down.
Yeah.
It was like that. Sorry.
This is
You can't put that child in room 101.
No.
Thieves.
He wasn't bringing stuff in though. He was trying to take it home.
Yeah, no, that's
Other way around.
That's worse.
When someone says, oh, it's just playing all day, it can't be that hard, right? That's a great one.
Yeah.
Come and have a go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come and have a go. That was like an England song, isn't it?
Was it? I don't think I've ever heard that.
Shout.
There's a Leeds version of something around that idea, but I won't sing that on this podcast.
So that is a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Come and try and have 22 2-year-olds
Yeah.
all day.
It's certainly not as easy as many people seem to think it is.
Um,
Unless you're a lifeguard, which in that case, slightly easier.
Right. Sleep limits someone's put.
Right, yeah.
But I get it from both sides.
It can work both ways as well, can't it?
Yeah.
Because like you're not giving them enough sleep. Actually, no, what would they? Oh, right. That child's always asleep. What a pain in the ass.
But then they sleep too much during the day, don't go to sleep at night. And then
Yeah.
it's like a cycle.
It's sort of like the comforter one, isn't it? Where there's sort of like it makes life a little bit harder, but at some stage it's
a little bit
bow
easier.
that has to take place.
Yeah. Unpractical clothes on small children, shoelaces and clothes that children can't move in. Skinny jeans on a baby that's trying to move around. Circulation's going to go.
Do you know what? Jeans in general for babies, like,
It's tricky, isn't
there's
it?
just no point, surely.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Go on.
Rude parents.
Just rude people in general.
Some people are just rude.
Yeah.
Like some people are just rude. And then I think, do you know what? They're leaving their most prized possession with us. Do they have a right to be rude? No. But can they ever moan? Yes.
Probably don't. You don't get anywhere in life they're being rude.
No, you don't.
No one's ever been rude to me and I've gone, all right, yeah, I'll go the extra mile for you and help you and do this. You just don't, do you? But if someone comes back to you like in a positive, like,
Even if
oh,
it's not
can
what
you
you
just
want
do
to
this?
hear.
Or
But
I'll be
it's
disappointed. If it's constructive, you think, actually, yeah, they're spot on, or no, they're wrong, but I'm going to help explain why. Or do you know what I mean? It's more of a
collaborative,
partnership,
yeah.
It's that collaboration. But
that's not all of them. Some of them were about funding and knowledge around funding. I think we know somebody who would put knowledge around funding in room 101.
it also doesn't help, though, that the way the government word it
No.
and deliver it just confused parents.
Yeah.
You almost need a degree in funding in some aspects to actually understand it. And I think often confusion comes around when you're splitting funding via different settings. But it can be quite confusing. So especially then when you extend funding, you roll it out 52 weeks of the year.
Children as well, the age groups. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our room 101. We'll put the poll out. So have a look on Instagram, check it out, pick your favourite of the 6. So mine were pull-ups for children who aren't toilet training,
Yep.
negativity in front of the children,
Yep.
and shoelaces on children's shoes who can't tie them.
And mine were overprotecting children, using Ofsted for false purposes, and lifeguarding. And
No, you
if
can't
not,
campaign.
no, let me just say one final point.
No, there's no no. This is not an election race.
Okay,
There's no campaign. No,
Let me just wrap the podcast up then. I think if you don't vote for lifeguarding, it just proves that you are a lifeguard. So take that as you will.
absolutely not. Because you don't want to spend all day tying shoelaces. I am here to campaign for you.
We're a day nursery. We are not Baywatch.
We're a day nursery to educate. We are not shoelace ties. Okay. Next week's episode, we will reveal the winner.
Okay. It will be lifeguarding. All right, we've gone.
We've waffled
far
on for
too
ages,
long.
but this has been a fun one.
It has been a fun one, but
I've
I also
enjoyed this.
don't think we're going to get any emails from the BBC asking us to bring it back.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. You never know.
Well, if it's been a success, maybe we'll do a different Room 101 later on.
Maybe.
The Christmas special. What would you put in? What would you put in from Christmas in Room 101?
Cauliflower cheese.
That's so specific.
I hate cheese.
The fact that you came up with that so fast.
Don't put that on my roast dinner.
Is that though?
A lot of people do put that on
Christmas?
roast dinner. Yeah, it's not for me. What's yours?
I don't know.
Yours is Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, I hate Christmas movies. What's that about?
You love Christmas.
I love Christmas, but cannot stand
Okay, right. We have
any
to stop.
Christmas films.
It's July.
It's
We have to stop. We have to stop.
On that note, guys, have a lovely
We
Christmas.
have got an extra special podcast with my 2 favourite little guests
You have, yeah.
coming very soon. It will be the last one probably
Before they go to big school.
before they go off to big school, and that makes me really sad. They were in my 2's room.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to get my head around how I'm going to edit this because they're definitely going to mention their school names. So
100%.
if there is bleeping, they're not swearing. They're just saying
they're
things
saying their name,
they
their
shouldn't be
school names.
saying.
And we don't want to advertise where they're going to school.
Because how they do that might be really interesting. Miss Emily, beep, beep.
So, yes. But so, yeah, we've got that coming soon.
That'll be like a bonus episode.
Yeah,
so we'll
so
still do our normal Monday episode. That'll just be
An
pops
extra
out
one.
maybe on the weekend.
So that'll be the 3 from the girls. If you've not seen them before, have a look on our YouTube channel because we've got the first one about what they love about nursery,
Yeah.
the Christmas special with the girls.
And they don't usually make it onto the audio podcast because of how absolutely chaotic it
it's
is.
always carnage.
And it never
And
sounds
the more
great.
confident they get, the more they'll love the sofa.
They will. And it might help them this time around because last time they kept falling off the chairs, bless them.
Bless they
So now they'll actually be able to sit,
They did. So keep an eye out for that with Ruby and B coming very soon.
our little superstars.
Oh, I love them. Love them. Okay,
Cool.
that's us done. Have a fabulous week. And let us know what you put in at Here's Room 101.
Don't forget to head over to Instagram and vote.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.